4th Street and 7th Avenue. The comeback kid comes to Madison Square Garden. And after those tough, low, walk through the valley moments in New Hampshire, who would have thought that you would see him here now tonight as the presidential nominee of his party? Listen, in politics, it can all go to naught so quickly. But for these seconds, for this moment, how sweet it is. And as the Clintons, who must be thinking some version of that, walk to Madison Square Garden, let's go to the CBS News correspondent who's covered the Clinton campaign from day one, Richard Trelko. Dick?
Hi, Dan. Quite a moment indeed. Bill Clinton, for those who are not too familiar with the geography of the west side of New York, has got about a 5 or 6 block fairly short walk down here to the Garden. After he arrives at Madison Square Garden, we understand he is going into the hall. He will go to the Arkansas delegation. There'll be quite a crowd, I expect, for him to get through, and he's going to try to go to the podium telephone at the delegation and call his mother, Virginia Kelly, who's up in one of the skyboxes coming all the way from Hot Springs to see this moment. So Bill Clinton, Dan, is one boy who does call his mother.
Well, that's true, Richard, and the story now has been told a number of times, but still a lot of people don't know it. I was talking earlier this evening with Bill Clinton's mother, who came up to the CBS anchor booth way upstairs, a long way from where we are now, down on the Garden floor and on the periphery of the Garden floor. And Bill Clinton's mother was saying that, she said, you know, Dan, I like to go to the racetrack. I like to go regularly, but very early on, I took Bill to the racetrack. He was a quick learner. And she said maybe I shouldn't have, but I got him to bet $4, $1 on each horse. He lost it all, and he told me right then after he lost the last of the $4, Mama, I'm going home. I don't like this. And she said, you know, he's never been back.
I think that's probably very good news for people who are worrying about what Bill Clinton may do about the deficit if he's president. One other thing we should mention, you were talking about the Arkansas Travelers over at Macy's Cellars. Who are they? Well, they're 300 or 400 people, old friends of Bill Clinton's, who have been a kind of guerrilla strike force for him throughout the primaries. On their own hook, they came up to help him when he needed it in New Hampshire. They were there when he needed it in New York and Indiana and California. There are people like Ted Leopoulos, his oldest friend from grammar school, who went jogging with him this morning, and people like Linda Bloodworth Thomason, an old friend from Arkansas, executive producer of Designing Women, and who will produce his biography movie tomorrow night. So they've been instrumental in large part in his victory. So this is a celebration both for him and for them.
Dick, the pictures we're seeing now, the Clintons have stepped into an automobile because that is the car that will bring them up the ramp to Madison Square Garden. There's a special ramp. Part of this is for security reasons, but give them credit. Bill Clinton, who features himself a walker as well as a runner, wanted to walk the streets of New York. The Clintons are no stranger to New York City. Over the years, when Bill Clinton was Attorney General of Arkansas and later governor of the state, they'd come here fairly often, frequently on state business. I know once, not 3 or 4 years ago, ran across the Clintons having lunch one day on the east side of Manhattan. So as Bill and Hillary and their daughter Chelsea Clinton drive in the automobile up the ramp to Madison Square Garden, we'll bring you up to date on the news, such as it is. Ross Perot has canceled his travel schedule indefinitely. No announcement as to why. Ed Rollins has left the Perot camp. Nobody quite knows what Ross Perot is up to next. A lot of talk that he may be about to announce his economic plan. A lot of speculation around the Garden floor tonight that maybe Ross Perot had decided not to get in. But the fact of the matter is, as has been demonstrated so many times, Ross Perot's his own man. He, and perhaps only he, knows what he's thinking, what he plans to do at this moment. What we plan to do at this moment is check in with Ed Bradley in the District of Columbia delegation. Ed?
Dan, the District of Columbia delegation is sort of spilling over to all edges of the floor. In fact, I'm not sure this is the District of Columbia anymore. When people heard that, you hear it now, people shouting, "We want Bill." When they heard Bill Clinton was coming into the auditorium, they saw his picture on the screens here in Madison Square Garden. People just started coming down from the rafters, and this whole area has been covered. There's really a sense of enthusiasm that has been generated, and I think building slowly each night of this convention. And if it's going to continue tomorrow, I think that the Democrats would say, one, that Bill Clinton and his staff organized a convention just the way it had to be
Mark
done,
Kramer?
and that they pulled it off and did a good job.
Yeah, do you suppose we could get a release? It's starting to rain here.
Well, Ed Bradley just outside the Washington, D.C. delegation, and the hall erupts as the word spreads that the Clintons are now getting out of the car, which has brought them to an area just off the floor. So the band plays with new zeal, and the crowd takes on another burst of energy. Bill Clinton will give his acceptance speech tomorrow night here in the Garden and talk about the pressure being on. Is there anybody who does not remember the 1988 Democratic Convention when Bill Clinton, who had a reputation as a hot young comer and one hell of a speech maker, gave a speech that, well, there's no other word for it, it flopped, it bombed. He went on the Johnny Carson show not long after that to explain himself, and part of his explanation was, look, I gave the speech that Michael Dukakis and his group wanted me to give. But Bill Clinton for months has been telling himself and telling those around him that if he's to win this election, he absolutely positively and without exception must deliver at least a very good acceptance speech. And you can bet the ranch that he's hoping to deliver a great one. Hillary Clinton holding hands with her husband and her daughter. Hillary Clinton, who has changed her campaign style and the profile of herself in the campaign after what Governor Clinton told me this afternoon in my conversation with him was, and I quote him now, some self-inflicted wounds from the campaign earlier. But Governor Clinton also spoke about the possibility that Hillary Clinton will not be as quiet once the campaign really gets rolling as she has been comparatively over these last few weeks. The Clintons stopped to say hello to the Democratic candidate for the United States Senate in Illinois, Ellen Mosley Braun, and having done that, move on. Governor Clinton wanted one of the themes of this convention to be, and the first night it was, and lapped on into the second night, one of the themes being, this is the year for women. And we Democrats, this was his self-crafted, carefully crafted theme, we Democrats are the party of women. The Republicans, of course, have another view of that, and they'll be putting their view of it forward at the Republican National Convention in Houston in the middle of next month. But this is the Democrats' hour. This is their time to put forward their messages. And into the Garden they come. Give me a shot. Give me a shot. What a scene here in the Garden. What a scene here in the Garden. We want Bill. We thank Governor Clinton, his wife, and his daughter are being brought to position just behind the podium up here at the moment. No one can be sure of that right now. But look out on this sea of people, great light show, and the music. And having come through the area just behind and below the podium, they plunge into the Arkansas delegation. Bill Clinton is one of those politicians who prides himself on being a toucher, a hugger, a people toucher. Some politicians are, some are not.
We're not closed. We've gone through the doors.
And sometimes it works for a candidate and sometimes it doesn't. Bill Clinton also prides himself on being indefatigable, as are most people who reach the top in politics, or for that matter, perhaps anywhere else. But with Bill Clinton, it's hard to have a conversation with him and not have him talk about work. He said several times today, listen, people can accuse me of a lot of things and they can think what they will of me, but, said Bill Clinton, I don't think anybody ever said that I don't work hard. Once the tumult and the shouting dies down, once this convention is over, the question will be from where do the votes come? Clinton's strategy, among others, is to go to the malls, go to the suburbs, and fight for the votes that he figures once were Democratic, but in recent elections have been going to Reagan and Bush. Let's go down to Charles Kuralt up on high, so to speak, for perspective. Charlie?
This is a great sight, isn't it, Dan? The nominee among his folks down there in the Arkansas delegation. We should probably explain to people at home that the people here in the hall have been seeing the same pictures they have as the Clintons made their way to Madison Square Garden and down the corridors and into the crowd. There are 3 great, huge television sets, television screens, this being a thoroughly modern convention. And so the reaction in the hall is to the very same pictures that people are seeing at home. Everybody in this crowded hall can enjoy the scene of Governor Clinton with the people who started him on the road to this evening in the Arkansas delegation.
Charles, you know the garden well, coming here as often as you and I do. But some people don't realize about Madison Square Garden is that as big-time indoor big event facilities go, it's not all that large. For basketball, maybe 19,000. Here's the point. The sound reverberates through this place. And it's doing it now, in which you can almost feel the walls quake. It's that kind of indoor facility. And we've all seen those seats from one time or another. Let's say the Knicks get hot in here and the place just reverberates with "We Will Rock You." Tonight it reverberates with Bill, Bill, Bill. Some people get into politics late, some get in early, some in between. For Bill Clinton, he's never made any secret of it. He's dreamed of this moment since he was a kid. Ron Brown, Democratic National Committee Chairman, just off to the side, you see, with a great smile on his face. Ron Brown, who has put this together, he said he wanted the Democrats to settle on the candidate early. They did, not quite as early as Ron Brown might have liked. Nearly everybody gives Ron Brown great credit for holding the Democrats together, particularly working behind the scenes with the likes of the Reverend Jesse Jackson and Governor Mario Cuomo. Cuomo set the stage tonight. Tremendously effective nominating address. Then the roll call that goes over the top after seconding speeches by Maxine Waters, David McCurdy of Oklahoma, Waters of California. And once it was over the top with the Ohio delegation taking it there, then the Clintons left the celebration at Macy's department store with their Arkansas travelers, walked on the street, then got in the car, came here to the garden. Well, you've heard the great balloon drops at these conventions. Here, every convention has them. Now we have the great glitter drop. Well, high-tech moves on. What Governor Clinton has indicated that he intends to do. Well, let's hold it for a moment. We thought maybe somebody had a microphone right up there close to him where everybody could hear him. Looks like that now is going to be the case.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The rules of this convention preclude my acceptance tonight. But 32 years ago, another young candidate who wanted to get this country moving again came to the convention to say a simple thank you. And so, I want to thank Dave McCurdy and Maxine Waters and magnificent Mario Cuomo for putting my name in nomination tonight. I want to thank you all for being here and loving your country, and to tell you that tomorrow night I will be the comeback kid. Good night, and God bless you all. Thank you.
And, of course, the young president-to-be, Bill Clinton, referred to, the one who 32 years ago came to the convention the night before his acceptance address, was the late President John F. Kennedy. Well, as Bill Clinton makes his way out of the hall, pressing the flesh, waving, having his moment of victory, triumph and glory here, and preparing to go back and, who knows, maybe do a little one last practice for this day of his speech for tomorrow night here at Madison Square Garden, his acceptance address. Let's bring in Kevin Phillips and Joe Klein. We've talked, Kevin and Joe, about the possibilities. If Clinton unquestionably is on the move, who knows how long it will last. Polls indicated from almost every indicator he's moving up fast. What does he need to do to keep that momentum, build on that momentum, and win? First of all, Joe Klein, let's talk about the downside. There are a lot of dangers up ahead for him.
Oh, yeah. Dan, in the 30 years since presidential politics became this complicated game where you have to go through all the jumps, through all the primaries, deal with us, deal with making commercials, only one person has won it on his first time around the track. That was Jimmy Carter. Didn't turn out too well. Bill Clinton is trying to do the impossible. But, you know, looking on this amazing scene, and my thoughts keep on going back to seeing him in New Hampshire, broken, exhausted, sick as a dog the night before the primary. And I remember he said to me then, "I've done all I can. I'm at peace." I don't think at that moment he could have ever imagined that he'd be here tonight.
And as we see Governor Clinton with the National Committee Chairman Ron Brown just behind him, moving off of the podium. I'm going to pause for a second to see if we can get a microphone in there. Bob Schieffer is there. Bob?
Hey, Governor. He's very near us here. Governor.
I'm so grateful. Well, it's the end of a lot of effort by thousands of people, but overwhelmingly, I just feel gratitude and determination to make the most of this opportunity for the country.
Are you looking forward to tomorrow night?
I'm looking forward to it very much.
So, Governor, when has it really sunk in on you that this has happened?
I don't think so. I just feel so grateful to have had a chance to do this, and I feel a keen sense of determination to make the most of it now, do something for the people.
There must have been times along the way when you didn't think this might not happen.
Lots of times. There were lots of times along the way, but we just kind of kept going, and it worked out.
What was the lowest point for you?
It's hard to say. There were a couple that were pretty low, but it's high tonight.
Congratulations, Governor.
I never allowed myself to think about it, really. I just tried to help Bill, and I tried to get up every day and just try to do what we thought was the right thing to do. I never really let myself think about it. Thank you.
How do you feel about your dad?
I'm very excited.
Are you? Did you ever think this would happen?
I dreamed.
So, Mrs. Clinton, what role will you have in the campaign?
Same thing I've been doing, just try to get out there and represent my husband and represent the issues that he and I and millions of other Americans care about, and try to do what we can to turn the country around in the right direction.
Well, Bob Schieffer, both Governor Clinton and Mrs. Clinton, I think Bob has just lost his headset in that melee there. Bob was very well positioned, but in the nature of journalism, anybody who's got position doesn't hold it very long. Very nice job of Bob Schieffer and others up on the podium talking to the relaxed, confident, and very experienced campaign team of Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. You just heard Mrs. Clinton field the question very well about what are you going to do in the campaign. She says, in effect, well, I'm going to keep on doing what I have been doing. We'll see. We were talking earlier with Joe Klein and Kevin Phillips very quickly. Kevin Phillips, your thoughts here. Just before we wrap this up, you've watched this tonight. Politics is full of mirages and illusions. Is this a mirage and illusion for Bill Clinton that, yes, it just could be that I could unseat an incumbent president?
Well, I think it could be a mirage several ways. I mean, first of all, you have always the possibility of some unexpected revelation or squabble or personal situation. Certainly the Republicans have it in mind to keep that pressure up. Secondly, if Ross Perot gets out of this race, all of a sudden Bill Clinton is in a situation where he's going to be head-to-head with George Bush in the South, and the whole question of the Clinton-Gore strategy is going to be put under a microscope. So there could be a mirage here, but there's certainly a lot of reason to be happy tonight.
And speaking of Ross Perot, let's go quickly. Well, we're going to make a switch, but I don't think we can do it, as it turns out. Well, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Chelsea Clinton are now beginning to leave Madison Square Garden. What a night here. Terrific speech by Mario Cuomo. The Clintons come into the hall. Bill Clinton, again, conjures up the memory of the time of the Kennedys, believing that he and Al Gore Jr. form at least a slight Kennedy-esque ticket. That's their hope, anyway. We'll have all the latest about the convention on your late local news, which will be coming up here very shortly. Also later on the CBS News program, Up to the Minute. And, of course, Paul Azan and Harry Smith will have a lot of follow-on, follow-up, and detail on CBS this morning. For all of us here at CBS News, from Madison Square Garden. Dan Rather, good night.
With CBS News for continuing coverage of the Democratic National Convention.
Experience CBS News.
This is CBS.
You can't change how you get clothes dirty, but with Whisk Power Scoop, you can clean them like never before. You see, oils from your body work like glue to lock dirt in. Most detergents can't get that tough, oily dirt all the way out. Whisk is the only detergent with an organic cleaning system that actually unlocks those oils to release the dirt. So your clothes are cleaner. They're not yellow or dingy. Try Whisk Power Scoop and change what you mean by clean.
Dave Thomas's daughter Wendy loves ranch dressing, so Dave rustled up a delicious new sandwich, Wendy's Monterey Ranch Chicken Sandwich. It's a whole chicken breast fillet with cheese, but not just any cheese, Monterey Jack. And to top it off, he cooked up a ranch dressing with an extra special touch, real bacon. The Monterey Ranch Chicken Sandwich, a great new taste you can only find at Wendy's.
Hey, Wendy. Oh, well, I guess I have to eat it myself.
I love watermelon. I love the seeds. Remember what Mom said? What? Eat the seeds. A great big watermelon will grow in your stomach. Will not. Will do. Will not. Will do. Will not.
Where do you get such a bounty of great tastes like these? Dairy Queen. Who else treats you so right with a special like this?